Hey everyone! So, I just wanted to finish the third part of the video about my experience taking my dogs to the groomer. So, before my scoliosis got really bad, I used to be a dog groomer. I went to school for it. So I learned everything you need to know to be a groomer yourself, whether it be just by hobby or to open a shop of your own. Yeah. So I had learned that. I had the equipment, everything from that. But because I recently discovered that I wouldn't be able to do it anymore, I ended up giving all that stuff away and getting into a different line of work. So, obviously my dogs still need to be groomed, taken care of. That being said, there is no groomer in my area that I know of that does a good job and also treats the dogs right. Many of them do a good job, but they don't treat the dogs good. They're an object. It's just an assembly line kind of thing, basically. They don't take their time with them. They don't really care. They just kind of plop them around. And some of them hit them, not like a hard hit, but they it's not like a little kind of thing either. It's not like a it's kind of in between. And I don't like that. I want it to be a positive experience, and why should you be hitting an animal just because it doesn't like what you're doing to it, right? And quite a few don't use restraints, meaning muzzles if necessary, and the noose goes around their neck and ties them to the table. Many of them, well, some of them don't use those because they think it sounds more friendly or more appealing to the human, when in reality that's not safe. It makes the dog actually feel safer with the noose on it than without. And it's obviously safer in general for human and dog. Muzzles, obviously, you don't really want to use them unless you have to, but if you have to, you have to. And you should at that point. For your own safety. And for the dog, really. But still, some just don't because it sounds better to the average human customer base to not. So yeah, that's just kind of the background. My dogs got to a point to where they needed to be groomed, so I took them to the only groomer who wasn't being a freak about the whole virus situation. And I know this groomer was crappy to begin with, because when I was grooming as a career for the 3.5 years that I was actually doing that as a career, my boss and I would fix their dogs after they went to this place. The customers would be unhappy and come to us to essentially fix them if they could be fixed. So I knew they were not good, But again, they were the only ones not being freaks about the virus that I could actually go to. And they needed to be groomed. It wasn't like a vanity situation. So, I take one of my dogs. I have 2 dogs, and I take one on one day, one on the other, because I just don't want to deal with 2 dogs at the same time that haven't been to a groomer in their entire life, because up until then I've been doing it myself. So, when I make the appointments, I make them, I tell the groomer herself on the phone that I am a former groomer, and I know the job, so I know what to expect, what will be done, whatever, I tell her that my one dog is a Springer, an English Springer Spaniel. English Springer Spaniel, there we go. And that I just wanted her ears, her tail, and her pads, so like under her feet in that area, trimmed up. And there's like a light trim around the body, but I do not want her body shaved. Do not. And there was no reason for it because she was not matted whatsoever on her body. So, I'll tell that story first because it's 2 separate days, obviously, and my other dog was on the first day. So, the day my Springer went, I tell all of that to her again when I get there to drop her off. They seem to understand. Like we said, no shaving the body, just trim the ears, the tail, and the pads, and give an overall trim of the body, which would be done with scissors, not a clipper. And the nails were included in that. That's just the prep work. So, when I was in grooming school, still, this is going back 6 years ago, I took 2 hours to completely groom my dog, that dog. And I was learning. So I was going much slower than a comfortable professional groomer. She has my dog for 5.5 hours that day. And when I got her back, her entire body is shaved. Why? When I specifically said twice not to. Not to mention, it's a choppy job, because if you don't do it the way you're supposed to, if you don't do it properly, you can see the lines. It's like you can see where you take it, and then you drag it, and then you stop, and then you're not supposed to be able to see that. If you do a crappy job, you can. There was lines all over the place. You could see everything. You could see where she stopped, where she took the clipper off, where she put it back on, where she switched different blades, where she used scissors instead of the clipper, where she shouldn't have. Shouldn't have touched the body at all, except light little scissoring, which is not like chunks taken out. So, that was a thing. Her nails were not touched, really. It was just one little, that much, literally, off the ends of each nail. That doesn't do anything. Her ears, her tail were not touched whatsoever. The back where it goes into the tail, like that rump area, it was shaved off from the back, so it was like just, so the top portion of her tail was shaved off, and it shouldn't have been. You don't shave a tail like that to trim it. You hold it up, right? And then all the featherings drop, like they fall, and you trim with scissors underneath until you get to the desired length that you want. She didn't do that. Not even close. Her pads, not trimmed. I don't get it. There's still like fur like poking up between her pads. And the tops of her pads or paws, when she just has her paws like just chilling, right? They weren't touched either. It was just a disaster. And stuff like, you could see scissor marks, but it wasn't proper. Like, it wasn't a well-rounded foot, you know? It was all like going everywhere and stuff, and then when the stuff that you could see that was clearly scissored was stuff that was like in the inlay of it, so it's not the part that you would even touch. And then her side, so going from her side of the body down into the ribcage and belly area, that was all scissored. For no reason. Again, there was no reason to touch that. Yes, she did. Her belly was shaved. Again, don't know why. And her head. When it went from her head to her neck, that was just chopped off. Like, it literally goes from like her fluffy hair neck, like the hair on her neck, that, you know, goes from that to nothing, because that's what's left on her body. And it's like a thick drop. So not only did she ignore my requests that were quite clear and that she made no question about whether she understood or not, but she did a crappy job. For a professional, this lady has been in business for at least 20 years. Even after I tell her I was a groomer. Like, I don't know if she just thought I was lying, or I don't know. But, okay. Also, my dog is a double-coated breed. So that top layer that she shaved off, that she wasn't supposed to, that protects her from the elements. It keeps her warm, it keeps her cool, it repels water. So to really get wet, she has to break through that top barrier. Without it, she's not doing so good. She can't regulate her body temperature. She's not protected. She's not even the same dog. It's not even vanity reasons why I'm upset. She used to spend all the time in the world outside, just playing around, relaxing, whatever. Now she goes pee outside and then comes back in. And she spends half her life upstairs too, because it's warmer. She's cold. She gets too hot outside, she comes back in, she goes upstairs because it's too cold because of the air conditioning. But we need air conditioning, so And she's still trying to actually bite off her nails because they weren't trimmed. But anyway, the previous videos to this will have the actual, they'll show the dogs more, so you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Or if you watch them in order, you'll already have seen what I'm talking about. So my other dog, he is a Shih Tzu mix, so I was told anyways. I don't really see any blah blah blah. I don't see any Shih Tzu in him, but who knows. Anyway, so he was pretty mad because I adopted him and the previous owner didn't really take care of him, so I had to get that taken care of. So I knew that he was going to be a complete shave down, which he needed to be. But he did not need to be shaved down that close to the skin. My only really big issue with the way she did him was it was too close to the skin. She could have went up a blade and made him more comfortable. Because he can't regulate his temperature either. Because he is also, I believe, a double-coated dog. But since I don't really know what exactly breed he is, or if he's a mix, probably is a mix. I don't know for sure what kind of coat he has, but he seems to be a double coat. But he's been shivering and shaking literally ever since I got them both groomed. So, he's clearly been affected by it. The other issue with him would be the crappiness of the groom. It was the same choppy, uneven, bad job that she did on my other dog, that she did on this one. And again, you'll be able to see that in the previous videos. I don't get it. Anyway, she refuses to respond to me any way I try to contact her. She's deleted my comments and blocked me from her Facebook page, which is where I tried to contact because she refused every other way. I did a Yelp review. It didn't go through. She didn't approve it. Or the page didn't. Whatever. It's still not up there. I have put an ad up on Kijiji. But who will see that? I have no idea. Yeah. Just learning experience. I had no other option. They needed to be done. And she was the only one that I could take them to. So, it just sucks. Also, double coated breeds, if you shave them instead of clipping them, like cutting them with scissors, they might never grow their fur back. And if they do, it will most likely grow in ingrown because the bottom layer that's left grows before, likely will grow before the top coat that got shaved off, which is bad. It's not supposed to happen like that. So, who knows what's gonna happen? Hopefully it's as good as it can be, because I really don't want to see them suffering anymore, but who knows? Yeah, so I feel like that was it for this one. The place is Dog City Grooming. It's in St. Catharines, Ontario, in Canada. So just anybody out there is around here, avoid that place. See you guys.